Hey everyone, welcome to Craft Central Designs. Today I have for you a very cute Valentine's Day heart tree made from items from the Dollar Tree. This would make a lovely addition to your Valentine's Day decor, perhaps on a buffet table or a table of sweet treats, or on a foyer table, a kitchen island, wherever you want a touch of festive Valentine's Day decor. If you are new to my channel, I hope you will consider subscribing and leave me your comments. I love receiving them. Okay, let me show you how I made this Valentine's Day heart tree. I went outside and I found some tree limbs that I snipped off with my garden shears. And here's those branches. I picked up a few branches in case I wanted to piece anything together if it wasn't quite the shape that I had in mind. You can always increase the size of it with wire or floral foam before you paint it. I have here this little Valentine's Day bucket that I purchased at the Dollar Tree. The floral foam, again, from the Dollar Tree. It isn't really going to actually matter what your container is because it's going to be covered regardless. So choose whatever you can find that would be a suitable size. I purchased those red heart ornaments at the Dollar Tree. I used 14 ornaments on my tree. There come 6 in a pack. I have here this narrow ribbon. It's 3/8 inch. You will need a ribbon that's 3/8 inch or more narrow than that for creating hangers for your ornaments. I have here some white spray paint. Obviously, this doesn't come from the Dollar Tree, but hopefully you have some around that you could just give your branches a spray of white paint. I have some Mod Podge there. Mine is in a squirt bottle, but I did show you the container there. I have some white chunky glitter. I'm going to glitter up my branches a little bit. And I have a sponge applicator that I'm going to use to do that. I have a piece of material here. I believe I got this at Hobby Lobby last year. I cut it in a 20-inch round piece, and I found that size to be adequate to wrap this container and have enough left over at the top to create a very pretty ruffle. I have here some ribbon. I believe that's a Michael's ribbon, but you can find ribbon very easily in the Valentine's Day department at the Dollar Tree. I purchased this trim as well at the Dollar Tree. It's little baby hearts, very pretty. I'm going to be gluing that to the perimeter of that circular piece of fabric. That's going to be wrapped around the container for my Valentine heart tree. You'll need scissors, hot glue gun, Aleene's tacky glue, and a big rubber band or a hair scrunchie. I will explain that later. Take your branches outside. I left mine in the floral foam and just wrapped my bucket. And I gave my branches a couple of coats of that white spray paint. Now I'm deciding if I'm going to place this trim on the underside of the fabric or on the top side of the fabric, which you see there. And I decided that I was going to place it all along the edge of the right side of the fabric, where you see the hearts there. I'm going to be using my hot glue gun, and in very small sections, with a very light application of hot glue, I'm going to be applying that heart trim to the outer perimeter of that circular piece of fabric. And once this is on, wrapped around the bucket, you will see this trim around the top of the ruffle that is created once you gather the fabric, and it looks really pretty. So I'm all done with that. I put on a finger protector, went around the entire perimeter of that piece of material. Now I'm going to prepare my ornaments. Now, I don't use Christmas tree hooks. I think we can do better than that. So I decided to use this very narrow ribbon. This ribbon is 3/8 inch. You don't want anything any wider, or else it will be too wide for the cap. Okay, you don't want to exceed the perimeters of the cap. So I cut my little pieces of ribbon about 3.5 inches. Now that's up to you how long you want your hangers. I actually cut mine, not every one exactly the same. So I would have different heights on my hangers. So I just put a little dab of glue, place it right on the ring of the cap of that ornament, and then I squashed it together with my little pliers there till it dried, and there you have the hanger. Now, the great thing about this is that once you put it on the tree, if you don't like the way the hearts are sitting, maybe they're not facing forward and you want them to, or maybe you want to tilt them to the side, all you have to do is twist the cap. And you can make those ornaments twist any direction that you like. Okay, so I have a big plastic bag down because you probably are guessing it's time for glitter. And that, we all know what a mess glitter makes. So I took some Aleene's tacky glue and I squirted a bunch of it in the bottom of that bucket. Now that handle gave me a really hard time. I couldn't quite get it off. But the truth is, it really doesn't matter because when you wrap the fabric around, it's not going to show anyway. But maybe you could figure out how to get it off. I had a problem. And I'm also going to put some hot glue on top of there just to hold that floral foam in nice and tight. I'm just going to press that down in there, hold it for a minute. Make sure my tree is standing nice and straight. Now you do you. If you like a lot of branches, if you want a minimal amount of branches, if you want a more rustic look, just don't paint them. Okay, now I'm going to use a paper shred filler over the top of my floral foam. But you could use some moss, some floral moss as well, especially if you're doing a rustic type tree. And speaking of rustic, you could wrap this container in burlap, which would look awesome with a burlap bow, something like the ribbon that I used for the previous wreath that I did, the beautiful rustic farmhouse wreath with the burlap ribbon with the red hearts. Oh my gosh, that would look so pretty as well. So you could do this in a farmhouse rustic theme as well, and it would be very pretty. All right, so my branches are all painted and dried. Now I'm going to take my sponge applicator, and on the top of the branches, there's my Labradoodle. I'm going to show you a little clip of her later. Since she decided to pop in, I thought I would show you her entire face. But I put a layer of Mod Podge on there. Now I'm going to take my glitter and just sprinkle my white glitter all up and down each of the branches. I also, after I'm done with that, turn my tree a little bit on its side, put some also on the trunk of my tree, and sprinkled a little glitter on there as well. And this just adds a little shimmer to the tree, and I thought it was a really pretty touch. And I'm showing you there, I'm doing another branch. This goes very quickly. It's a detailed project, but all of the details, each task goes rather quickly. And this was such a fun project. And I think it just turns out so cute. Such a unique and fun piece for Valentine's Day. All right, so I just let that dry. And now here I am, and I'm going to tell you at the onset, if you have a hair scrunchie, This would work so awesome for what I'm trying to do here. Or a rubber band. I happen to have neither. So you're going to see me struggling a little bit here because I did not have a rubber band or a hair scrunchie. And what I needed was a means to hold up this fabric while I gathered it around my container. Now, you're going to see your girl struggling here, okay? But it really does not have to be this difficult. If you have a hair scrunchie or a piece of elastic or a rubber band, put it down at the base of your container, slide it up to the top, and it will hold all of your ruffles for you. Here I was trying to do it and corral all my ruffles with a pipe cleaner. Trust me, use the rubber band, as you can see. But I wanted to leave it in so you could see me struggle a little bit. Everything isn't easy for me. But I'll tell you, I have patience galore when it comes to crafting. So not much bothers me. I always find a resolve. But the idea here is, if you had a rubber band or a hair scrunch, you could just slide that right up to the top so it will hold your ruffle while you go around the piece and even out the gathers. Now, when you pull it up like this, obviously some areas are going to be a little bit more gathered than others. So you want to just go around the piece and even that out all the way around. Now, don't worry that the ruffle is flopping over. I have a resolve for that. What you're trying to do right here is just get the fabric on and even out, space out your gathers. Just so it's, as symmetrical and as even as possible all the way around the piece. Now, I had a vision for this piece. I wanted that fabric to come up to the top and have a really cute ruffle all the way around the base of that tree. And I did achieve that. I just did it the hard way. You can do it with a rubber band. Okay, so now that I explained all that, I'm going to use a piece of ribbon to go around the top of that container as well, on the outside, obviously. And I chose to use that red ribbon with the white hearts. But again, they have plenty of Valentine's Day ribbons. If all you can find is the 2.5 inch, which is the wider one, you can fold it in half. Or you could even fold it in thirds. I actually folded my 1.5 inch ribbon in half. That one that you'll see me wrapping around this piece. Getting ready to do that there. And I pushed all my ruffles inside the top of that container so that I could go put this ribbon around. Now, if you were using a rubber band, you could even just leave the rubber band on there and place the ribbon over it. But if you're using a hair scrunchie, obviously that's not going to work. But you could slide the scrunchie down just enough to wrap that ribbon around and then just pull the scrunchie off. I don't think I've ever used a hair scrunchie in my crafting before, but in hindsight, after I got done struggling, I was thinking, oh my gosh, if I just had a hair scrunchie, that would have really worked, or a big rubber band. Okay, so I put my ribbon around. Enough about that scrunchie. I put my ribbon around there, and then I have it nice and snug there. And I'm going to be holding all those gathers with that ribbon. And I'm just going to hot glue that. I did go around the entire perimeter of that piece and secure that ribbon on there with little dabs of glue here and there around. Now I'm taking out that pipe cleaner, which kind of sort of helped me out a little bit. Okay, so now you see the ruffles are flopping over, but that's okay. I'm going to show you what I did to take care of that. It was very easy. Very, very simple. I'm going to take my hot glue gun and along the very top edge of that container, I'm going to go around in very small sections and press my ruffle. You see what I'm doing there? This is going to hold my ruffle up. Now, after you go around the perimeter of that piece, now you'll start to see how this comes together because the ruffle's going to start standing up. After I got the entire ruffle to stand up all around the piece, if there are any sections or parts of the ruffle that bother you, they're not really cooperating with exactly where you want them to be positioned, you can put a little dab of hot glue here and there to help out the situation. It'll never show. And look how cute that is with that ruffle at the top. So I went all around the perimeter. If your ruffle isn't standing up, go back and put a little bit more glue. But that's all you need once you're at this point. It's just that little bit of hot glue around the perimeter. And this is exactly the vision I had for this piece. And see how those little tiny hearts on the trim look so pretty on there? Now I'm going to create a bow. Surprise, surprise. I'm sure you expected that. But I'm going to create a bow out of this same ribbon that I wrapped around the top. And again, if you use a ribbon from the Dollar Tree, you will want to use the same ribbon that you used to wrap around the top of that container. Now, if you use a 2.5 ribbon, just do 2 loops, 1 loop on each side and a loop right in the center. And that will work fine as well. I'm using 2 loops on each side or 4 loops altogether because I'm only using a 1.5 inch ribbon. If you use a thicker ribbon, just do 1 loop on each side and that will work as well. I always hope in my tutorials that you will use my designs as a craft blueprint, if you will, and that you will think on your own about how you would like to make the piece yours, how you would change it, or how you could improvise in the materials that you use. Often there are other ways to do something on a particular piece, and I just gave you an example of that. You could use the wider ribbon, just do 1 less loop on each side, and then you'll have the same approximate size bow. So I'm going to be, oh gosh, I love this. Okay, I'm going to apply that bow. I snipped off the pipe cleaners on the back. I'm going to apply that bow right on top of the ribbon that I put around the top of the container. I'm going to tuck it up right underneath the ruffle. And when I display this piece, I'm going to display it a little bit off to the right side. So you want to choose which side is going to be the front of your piece, the way you're going to display it. And then set your bow a little bit off to the side. You could do it off to the left or off to the right, or if you choose, you could put it right in the middle. Just displaying it a little bit off to the right is just my preference. So I take my tails, give them a little curl on the bottom, and do you see how this piece is evolving and becoming cuter by the moment? Oh my gosh, I really love this piece. This is the first tree I've made like this, and I just had so much fun. So I'm pointing to the top of that tree, and I want to put just a little bow on top of that tree. I don't want anything too much or a thick bow, I want just a little something on the top. So I'm going to take that 3/8 inch ribbon and put a bow at the top. Now, if you're using a Dollar Tree ribbon, they have quite a number of ribbons this year that are a little bit thicker than, I believe they're 1/2 inch. I believe they're a 1/2 inch, but they're a little bit thicker than this particular ribbon. This is a 3/8 inch ribbon, and it's very, very narrow. Now I'm creating this little bow here in the same manner that I always create bows. A little bit more difficult because it's a tiny, narrow ribbon, but I do the fold over, pinch in the middle. I didn't mention before, but I do have multiple tutorials when I was making that other bow. If you would like to learn how to make bows like I do, probably, if you're a subscriber, you're probably very tired of hearing me say that, but I have to say it, and I have to suggest that you give my tutorials a look, because to be able to make bows like this is just heavenly. I absolutely love the bows that I make and the difference that they make on a piece. They just turn out so beautiful, and you can do it with one continuous piece of ribbon. No easy bow maker or bow dabra. Just fold over, pinch in the middle, twist, fold over, pinch in the middle. Very simple. Once you understand the anatomy, if you will, of the bow, if you watch the tutorials, I explain all that to you. You will be so happy when you learn how to make gorgeous bows. All right, so I have this little bow constructed. I'm going to be snipping off the wire on the back of there because I'm going to be gluing that or hot gluing that right to my tree. I'm going to be cutting off the tails. I left about maybe 3 to 4 inches of a tail. And this is going to go right at the top of my tree, which coordinates really pretty with the little ribbon hangers that I created for each of the ornaments, but it doesn't have to match. I think it looks beautiful to mix patterns, and you all know this if you follow my channel. I love mixing patterns. So you could see even on this piece here, my material that I wrapped the container with is one pattern. The ribbon that I made the bow with is another pattern. And this little bow here that's going on the top is another pattern. It just looks beautiful, and it creates visual interest to any piece that you do. I'm going on and on about bows today, but I'm just saying there's just nothing like beautiful ribbons and a beautiful bow on a piece. Okay, so I'm just going to hot glue that right to the top. And then the fun part comes in putting the ornaments on the tree. Now, how many ornaments you use, how you place them, is completely up to you. The size of your tree is completely up to you. So here's my ornaments, and I just feed them onto the branches. Remember, you can twist and turn your ornament. I'm going to show you that in just a second, because I think that's kind of important. I didn't want all my ornaments just facing forward. And I'm going to show you how you just twist the cap here in a second. But you could just experiment where you want your ornaments. If you like, you could put a dab of hot glue to keep them from moving around. But they should just sit there. But if you feel that they're sliding down the branch, just put a dab of hot glue. It's very easy. And here's all my ornaments ready to decorate on my tree. Now I'm showing you. See how you could just twist the cap? And because you can just twist the cap, you can just face your hearts any way you like on your tree. And here's Savannah, my beautiful Labradoodle. She had a a Valentine's Day bow on her neck. I hope you noticed that. And here is the final decor piece. Love, love, love this, and I hope you do too. Let me know what you think in the comments. And remember to subscribe if you are not currently a subscriber. Oh, this is so pretty. Okay, until next time, you all take care.